Hey guys, welcome to session 2 of XOXO. We're glad you guys are with us. I hope that session 1 went great and you guys had some awesome conversation about your relationships. And this week we're talking a little bit about this idea of how we learn pretty early on when we go into relationships that the people we enter into a relationship with are wired very differently most often than the way that we're wired. And so what makes them feel loved is often different than what makes us feel loved. And so I thought that'd be kind of a fun place to kind of get into this conversation. And like, do you guys like remember a point in your current relationship where like it just kind of hits you, wow, what makes them feel loved is not the same thing that makes me feel loved?
Absolutely.
Tell me about it.
Early on, we had just been for a run. We were sitting at Fido's. And I decided I was going to propose. It was kind of spontaneous. I thought second marriage, Paige was cooler than, I've never done cool very well. So Paige was kind of cooler than I thought, we'll just wing this a little bit. And so I asked her if she wanted to spend the rest of her life with me. And she said yes. And I thought, okay, well, that's cool. We're engaged. Well, a few days later, I found out that she had no idea that we were engaged. So it dawned on me then that, yeah, she needed a little bit more than I had delivered that time.
Yeah. That's great. I love that. How about the rest of you guys? You remember a time?
Oh, definitely. I think the thing, a quick, easy one is just, I didn't understand how important it was for her to just feel heard. It doesn't matter if she doesn't feel like she's heard, the conversation might as well not have happened, and maybe even shouldn't have happened. And more so, there have been times where I thought, okay, there's a problem. We can fix this. We can do this. We can handle this. And at the end of it, I felt like, okay, we came up with a solution, but she didn't feel heard at the end of it. And so there was still a lot of angst there. And there have been other times where I just kind of shut up and listen. And I was like, so what you're saying is so on and so forth. And when she felt heard, a lot of it sort of just was okay. I still don't fully grasp why that works, but it works. So I'm going to roll with it.
Because we're women and we like to be heard.
Yeah. So Danielle, have there been times in dating relationships where you've been like, guys just don't get it?
Oh, every time.
Every time?
Every time. Guys don't get it. Here's the thing. Girls are complicated. And
Amen.
we are complicated. And we like to feel heard. We like to feel important. We like to know that things that we say are remembered. And we like to feel like the person that we're with is as thoughtful as we are. And a lot of times, I don't think that it's the man in the relationship cares any less. I think that they're not as thoughtful. There's no other way to put it. They're just more like, she knows. I don't have to tell her that she looks pretty today, even though she spent 2 hours getting ready. Like, no, like, we need to hear it. Even though you said it yesterday, we need you to say it again. We need you to remind us. Just little things like that. And just little notes, like little just gestures of caring, I think are something that girls crave. And I think guys could do without it. They're just kind of like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
I kind of need it.
Yeah. So there's this interesting verse. It's Ephesians 4:29. It says, "Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up." And here's the key phrase: according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. Now, the main point of that verse is primarily about our words and the kind of words that we use. But what's interesting to me is that phrase, according to their needs. So there's this kind of fundamental expectation that in our relationships, whether this is dating relationships or marriage relationships, even friendships, that we're aware, that we're in tune to what the other person needs, right? Because you can't speak words that meet their needs if you don't know what their needs are. So some interesting research. There's a book out there. It's called Surprising Secrets of Highly Happy Marriages. And they have a lot of research in this book. And they talk about, I think it's the top 10 needs of women and the top 10 needs of men. We don't have time to cover all those, but I thought it'd be fun to take the top 3 of each. And I just want to get you guys' perspective on, does this sound kind of right, okay? So, top 3 needs of women. Are you ready? Number 1, that the guy takes her hand. So this could be like on a walk, in the movies, just takes her hand. 82% of women responded as if that, yes, that makes me feel loved, that makes me feel cared for. Number 2 was leaves a message or a text that he loves you or he's thinking about you. And number 3 was when he puts his arm around you or his hand on your knee in public. So like in all those, between 75% to 82% of women said, yes, that makes me feel loved, wanted, needed. What do you guys think?
I would agree with all 3 of those.
Absolutely. Really? If he doesn't put his hand on me in public, or like if when we're walking together.
See, she's hurt. She's hurt.
Right. I'll think that we're in a fight. Like I'm like, what did I do? Like, why aren't you being affectionate? Like I'll just right now is okay, but but I mean I think normally I'll wonder what's going on, or maybe his head is somewhere, like maybe he's really in deep thought. I'm like, what is something wrong? And so that'll probably be my first reaction. But I think those things just make me feel like I'm being thought of, like he's thinking about me, like he said, and that he cares.
You agree with it, Paige?
I do. I mean, Rhodes is good about texting. Just, I love you, or, you know, husband loves you, or, I mean, just anything like that. Just a little something.
You know, what's interesting to me as a man is these 3 things are so simple. Like, I mean, but it doesn't necessarily just come natural to me to think about taking Brandy's hand when we're on a walk or leaving her a text message in the middle of the day. You know, if I send her a text message, it's generally, you know, what are we having for dinner tonight? You know? So it just doesn't come that. I mean, I think about her during the day, but I don't necessarily think about texting her that I'm thinking about her. So, guys, I mean, do any of these things just come real natural for you?
I think early on in the stages, whether it be marriage or just dating someone, you're in that honeymoon type of phase. You know, they say 3 months or something like that. And so, what was that?
I said the fuzzies.
The fuzzies, yeah, the warm fuzzies. And so, yeah, like I love, you know, holding, you know, their hands, or, you know, just texting them, letting them know I'm thinking about them. And then, you know, after you do that every day for a few months, sometimes you just like, oh, well, I forgot to text her this, or I forgot to call, and
You
like,
assume
but that'll
they
be
know.
okay. But yeah, but they know that. But it doesn't mean
It's
that.
easy to get out of the routine.
Yeah, it's very easy.
Yeah. Takes
think
more
I-
intentionality.
I have a strong feminine side, I think.
Really?
So I really
find that
like,
very-
but I really like that myself. I like it when Paige reaches out and touches me. I like it when Paige reminds me during the day that she's thinking about me.
Yeah.
So that makes it easier for me, because I know how much I like it, to do it back or to do it first.
Yeah. That's good. All right, so top 3 needs of men. I will say right off the bat, sex does not fall into the top 3, which was surprising. It is in the top 5. It is in the top 5. But top 3. Number 1, that she notices his effort and sincerely thanks him. So it could be something like you do the dishes, and she notices that and says, thank you for doing the dishes. Number 2, says you did a great job at whatever, blank. That was 69%. Number 3, mentions in front of others something that he did well.
Yeah.
That was 72%. So, again, with those top 3 guys, I mean, mainly those have to do kind of with ego, really. Does it sound about right?
Especially that last one. But I would say that it's nice to know that your wife or spouse or whatnot thinks highly of you.
Yeah.
And there's different ways that they can show that, but especially in a public setting, like being willing to dote on you. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be while you're there, but just knowing that they think the world of you. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, one of my biggest love language receiving is, you know, words of affirmation. You know, every man likes to hear that they did a good job at something.
Yeah.
So.
So, ladies, is that at all surprising to you, those top 3?
No. I mean, Rhodes has been in a transition because of some health issues and work issues. And the other day he said, please don't lose respect for me during this time. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to at all, but I think respect both ways, but especially from a female to a male is so important.
I didn't know you were going to share that. A little intimate there.
So, Lulu, surprising to you?
No, I don't think it's surprising, but it makes me happy that it matters. Because I think, like, when he does I'm like, as far as love languages, I think I'm acts of service, and
words of
so
affirmation.
and words of affirmation. But when he, like, if I'm just like tired, I'm coming back and I'm frazzled, I'm running around, I'm like, oh my gosh, you did the dishes, like, holy cow, like, I am so grateful. Like, thank you so much, because then that's one less thing I have to think about. It just sends me like over the edge, and so I think it just makes me really happy to know that matters to other guys too, and definitely to you, and you keep doing it, which is awesome. So
Well, yeah, it keeps you happy.
yeah, absolutely.
Well, I think this is going to be an interesting conversation in your group. I think one of the bottom lines that would come out as you guys talk about different needs in the context of relationships is that there's a good chance that what meets the needs and desires of the person you're in a relationship with aren't necessarily your own way that you get your own needs met. And so it's just another reminder that sometimes it takes tears and sweat and hard work, but if you want to have meaningful, fruitful relationships, you got to start thinking about the other person's needs. So I hope you guys have a great conversation tonight.